All right, skin cancer, slide 22. So a cancer in general is an abnormal, disordered, rapid growth of epidermal cells. I'm looking at the slide, skin cancer slide. So that's the first point that up there. And when we talked about cancers in general, we talked about they could be benign or malignant. And benign meaning they're encapsulated and they're not spreading. Malignant meaning they're spreading and they spread to other tissues. And hey, good news for you smokers. Almost everything we talk about with regards to cancer has to do with smoking. You know, smoking did it. That's not here. It's sun. Sunlight is the major risk factor. The ultraviolet radiation, which is out there in the sunlight. It's also in the tanning beds, sorry to say. This is the major factor for producing skin cancers. So we have 3 different kinds of skin cancers. Now, if you spend any time in the South, especially with older people, you'll hear them saying, oh yeah, I went and I had a spot removed there or from there. And you might say, what is this spot they're talking about? What they're talking about is a basal cell carcinoma. Flip the slide, number 23. A basal cell carcinoma. It's a cancer. But they're not too worried about it, right? Because it's the least scary of the skin cancers, and people often get them where? On the parts of the body that are always exposed. So your face and your hands. Oftentimes you find skin cancers in these regions because this is where, at any given time when you go outside, these parts of your body are generally not covered up. It's the basal cell carcinoma. It is the most common, least malignant. That's a good thing. Slow growing, kind of a cancer, and it has a really good cure rate, 99%. And what they do is they just cut it off. You go to a dermatologist and they say, we better cut that thing off, and so they cut it off, and hopefully that's all, it's all there is to it. It's not so bad. Now, they get worse, I'm sorry to say. Okay, so then we have this thing called the squamous cell. And you notice, by the way, on these slides, most of these pictures are on people's faces. And so that's kind of icky too, but this is where people get this stuff. So the second one, sort of the intermediate bad, is the squamous cell carcinoma. Instead of being slow growing, they are rapid growing, and they will spread to lymph nodes, and you don't want that. So they will metastasize to the lymphatic system. So it's very dangerous. It can be very deadly. So what they do, they surgically remove it and often treat with radiation. And if you detect these early enough, the survival rate is quite good, but you do have some kind of hideous treatments. And we have a picture one here on somebody's side of their face. Okay. What were those cells that we were talking about that we said were so sensitive to ultraviolet radiation that they secreted a chemical to try and protect themselves? Melanocytes, right? Well, melanocytes, when they become cancerous, can become malignant melanomas. That's the scary one. It's a very deadly, by the way, it's a very deadly cancer. And they produce a really rapidly growing sort of black-brown patch, and I have a picture of one. They spread very rapidly. Survival rate is not good, and you have to go through surgery and chemotherapy. It's a very dangerous type of cancer. So on slide number 26, we see a malignant melanoma. And I sometimes wonder how people get to this point before they go to the doctor. I was sitting in on a nursing class the other day, and they were showing some breast cancer stuff. And I was thinking, what kind of denial would you have to be in to wait to go to the doctor till then? And so it's kind of the same thing with this person, this poor individual who has this horrible malignant melanoma on their face. And so you might say, we had said, well, you've got a basal cell carcinoma, it's not so bad. The squamous cell carcinoma, it's medium bad. And then we have this malignant melanoma, which is terrible. And so in reality, the thing to do is if you get any kind of a spot, you go to a dermatologist. But in addition to that, we have a rule for helping you evaluate whether or not you have a malignant melanoma or one of these other less scary kinds of cancers. But go to the doctor. But anyway, it's the A, B, C, and guess what? D rule. A, B, C, D rule. And so number one, then it stands for asymmetry. Symmetry means it's the same, mirror images on either side. Asymmetry means it's not. So if you look at this horrible looking place on this poor person's face, it certainly is not symmetrical. It's different on both sides. B means border irregularity. So it's got a wavy, a butterfly would be symmetrical, but it also has a wavy border. So asymmetrical and a wavy border, so border irregularity. C is for color. This thing has some black areas, it has brown areas, it has kind of tannish colored areas. The color is not consistent. And D stands for diameter, big. It means it has a big size to it because they grow very rapidly. Okay. I hate to end on a sour note, but that's the end of the slides. So we'll end on that one and hope you guys have a good day.